Good evening from downtown Houston. I'm Ed Cohen with the former Chicago Bulls guard Jay Williams. And Jay, here in Rockets land, you think of Calvin Murphy, Moses Malone, and of course the dream, Hakeem Olajuwon. But a new chapter being written right now here in Texas.
Oh yeah, you think about Clutch City, Hustle Talent USA. But put all that aside, this team for the last several years has been on the edge of success. Let's see if they can take the next step.
And when you think of the Rockets, you think fun. This one could be as well tonight. All right, here we go. To Capella. Tucker. Oh, he had him there for a second. Got a piece of it.
Jumping out the gym right now, Ed.
Great anticipation. Griffin. To Jackson. Trying to cash in. He's looking for that touch. And a whistle.
That's just a blatant foul. Maybe he's trying to make a statement.
Tucker. Harden. His first effort off the mark. To Reggie Jackson. Inside, he scores.
As a team, when you establish your dominance in the paint early, it's critical to your offense because it eventually opens up the perimeter down the stretch.
Harden to Anthony. Fires the three. That's how you defend.
Shooters shoot. Period. I don't want to hear any excuses. That's why you're on the floor. You keep doing what you're doing with that superior confidence.
Paul into the front court. A minute gone by here in the opening quarter. Anthony to Paul. To Anthony. Fires the three. That one also no good. Knocked loose. Rockets have it. Now Paul with the basketball. Down two. Paul driving, but he can't connect. To Stanley Johnson. Goes down. Yes, it's better to be lucky than good.
Look, there was barely any contact on that last play. I agree with the ref's no call. Let him play.
Shot from the lane won't go.
It's easy for the offense to get agitated when you keep turning around and the defense is right there in your face. The jawing is only going to escalate.
Paul into the front court. Down four. Harden, well, their first three, and they're right back in it, within a possession in this first quarter.
Well, I don't want to live in the past, but if you got a couple of those that dropped earlier, you could have had a nice lead. Now, we got a dogfight.
Curling inside. Jackson. Now a steal as the Rockets have it. To Paul. Goes to the left side. Harden. To Paul. Rockets recover. Banks it in for two. Going the other way.
And attention to detail is everything for a professional scorer like that. Actually getting it done the hard way.
You talk about forcing things up. Too much pressure that time.
See, I don't like that shot right there. Pass the ball, get the defense moving, maybe set a hard screen, roll to the rim, see the ball go in a couple of times before you settle for a mid-range jumper that's contested.
For three, that's off the side of the rim, short.
Great contest by the D, but I want to see the coaching staff call the same exact play the next possession. Get that offensive player the ball, let him prove that it wasn't the D, it was more in his own head.
Paul to Capella. From the painted area, won't go down. To Drummond. Layup's good. Those are the types of shots you always strive for.
A man down low on the block. Drummond is going to feast in and around the basket. His field goal attempts are limited, so don't expect him to be featured, but you better have a body on him at all times and limit second chance opportunities. Let me tell you why. He collects 26.2% of all misses. That puts him in elite conversation. Him and DeAndre Jordan are the first players ever to eclipse the 26% mark, and the only player to ever do that before in the NBA was Dennis Rodman.
Mixing things up. Hockey line substitutions. Both teams making changes. Pistons have it. Ish Smith to Luke Kennard. probing the defense. From long range, hits it, and the foul. And a chance now at a 4-point play.
Oh, that was a big-time shot. But more impressive than the shot, the bench reactions. I love the celebration tactics. This is why you love this game.
Convert the free throw. Paul across the timeline. His team up by 1. Paul knocks it down. Defender has to get there next time.
It's all about creating space with the dribble. Once you have that gap, you can beat somebody in a variety of ways. He chose a dagger with the 3.
Takes advantage inside after the miss from the perimeter.
Threes and layups. That's what the Rockets do. They're not a team that settles for mid-range shots. And that's a good job of getting to the rim and racking it.
Pistons have it. Knocked loose. Rockets come up with it. Gordon with it. They can get a 2-for-1 if they play this right. Johnson to Smith. Count the basket. 2 more points in the paint.
Tie ball game so far. Neither one of these teams really able to pull ahead. Might be time to put the bench players in the game, and let's see who could differentiate themselves.
Oh, Jay, he commands the paint this time down.
You normally don't see that, but that's the type of thing that keeps shooters in the league for a long time. Every once in a while, they venture into the paint.
Baseline drive with another basket there.
Bodies bouncing all around on that layup with the offense winning that battle. But if the defense keeps up that kind of pressure, good things are bound to happen.
That misses with 3 seconds left. 1 quarter down, 1 period to go. Shaping up to be a good one. A good start to this one. All tied up as we start the second. The possession in favor of Detroit. Jackson over to the right side. Beyond the arc for 3. Oh, that's how it's done.
I love the pure confidence on that jumper. He takes that 3 despite the defender being right in front of his face. That's borderline disrespectful.
Jackson with it. Up by 3. Great dish to set it up. Can't miss those.
I don't know why he rushed that shot. He was wide open. Take your time.
Gordon to the basket, but a shot no good.
And you have to remember that your hand is part of the ball. There wasn't enough contact on that play for the refs to blow the whistle.
Has a look. Hand in his face. Still hits. You don't see that very often.
No fading on that shot. Strictly up and down.
Fundamentals 101. Paul. Stuffs it down with authority.
That's the intensity you need to see. Whenever a player running back on defense after a dunk like that holds the inside of his forearm, it lets you know how hard he dunked that basketball.
Tough-looking shot there. Still gets it to go down.
Sometimes you hear people give all these fancy breakdowns, tell you all these different things they can do. That was just plain old simple bully basketball. Muscled his way through the lane.
A pass taken away by the Rockets. To Paul. Lets it fly from long range. He was all over it.
Just because you're an elite shooter doesn't mean you need to shoot the ball every possession. Maybe give a head fake, crack into the defender, get to the free throw line, see the ball go in the hole.
Runner here won't go. Nothing going here on that drive. Deep left corner. Going to launch. Beyond the arc. That's off the side of the rim. No good. Carter Williams with it up top. They're down 3. And Chris Paul, he's been doing that for years. Wide open look, and he buries it. There's a sixth sense there that you just can't teach.
If you're a player on the same team with CP3, you should be taking that point guard out to dinner every single night. There's something to be said about a guard that makes the game way easier for you to be even more of an efficient offensive player.
Both teams tweaking their lineups. Here come some changes.
Substitutions.
Pistons ball here. Ish Smith to Griffin. 4-3. So the first points for him in this first half, and he knocks it down for 3.
Yeah, they really need him to get going. Really surprised that none of his teammates have been talking to him. This is when he needs him the most. They have to uplift him, help him continue to be confident on the court.
And a 2. The finish at the rim for Drummond.
You know, Ed, as a player, when I was younger, there were certain guys that you just never went around on the court. You know, the ones that just threw those random elbows, smothered you with their physicality on the block. That's Andre Drummond, the guy who leads the league in rebounding.
2 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
Finishing inside the paint on that one.
Because in certain players' mind, it doesn't matter if they're amongst the trees or not. They're always going to be the giant in the paint.
Paul to Capella. Paul off the mark.
And there's always so much talk about defense. How about offensively? If you continue to attack that shooter, now you're making him work on the defensive end. That makes him take his legs away on the offensive end.
Here's Paul controlling the offense. To Harden. Paul. It's good. Defense has to pick things up.
I know he's a volume shooter. I know defensively at times you have to take your lumps. Might be time to adjust the scouting report, though. Start denying him the ball.
Layup goes down. Well done.
I'm not sure that wasn't an offensive foul, but take it when you can get it.
Capella to Harden. Oh, had him going there for a second. A lot of contact on that play. He plays through it and scores.
This game is so mental. Trust me, some nights you get poor effort defensively, you can't make any shots, then you see the ball go in, boom, switch turned on.
We have both squads set to make some moves right now.
Number 25, Reggie
To Drummond. Oh, great pass, setting up the basket.
He's been doing this for years. The physicality in which he plays, no one wants to see that. You're going to leave the game with black and blue marks all over your body.
Straight down the middle of the lane. Way to punch it home.
It's easy to become mesmerized when you watch a player who can create off the dribble. We call that dancing. When you allow a player to dance with that much space, that's problem city.
Off the mark. With defense like that, little margin for error. Pistons come away with it. Out of bounds. Last touch by the Pistons. Here's Paul. Brings it up the floor. And scores. Strong take.
Ed, all this talk I heard over the summer, what about CP3's hamstring? Will he be able to get back his first step? Will he still have it? There you go.
A lot of contact. No whistle. So the difference? 3 points as we've reached the break. Let's get you to our NBA Live studios in Orlando and hand it over to Jalen Rose for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Jalen.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jalen Rose, and this is your EA Sports Halftime Report. The Pistons have themselves a close game after 2 quarters. Clearly, the number of three-pointers these guys scored in the first half was incredible. And if they can keep that up, it's going to be tough to keep that team down. Have a look at the leading scorers for the Detroit Pistons. The Rockets are still very much in this matchup. And without question, they can put themselves in a position to win this game if they continue to rack up the assists. These are the guys getting buckets for the Houston Rockets.
Game track. Steals.
That must have been a difficult half of basketball for these coaches to watch. Neither team was able to hold on to the ball, as you can see by the steals in these highlights. Still, some credit should go to the guys with the active hands.
Player of the half.
Andre Drummond was lighting up the scoreboard in the first half, and I'm not sure the defense will be able to figure out what it'll take to slow him down. He looks like he's in a zone. Here are the top plays.
Number 2.
Here we go with the top plays from the first half.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Pistons have themselves a narrow lead. Clearly, the number of three-pointers these guys scored in the first half was incredible. And if they can keep that up, it's going to be tough to keep that team down. These are the guys getting buckets for the Detroit Pistons. The Rockets are keeping things exciting in a close matchup. I love the way they gave each other scoring opportunities. That really impressed me. I love seeing unselfish basketball like that. Have a look at the leading scorers for the Houston Rockets.
Game track. Steals.
We're seeing a lot of steals in this game, and it's not been one-sided. Each of the teams in this matchup have been aggressive on defense and getting some positive results.
Player of the half.
Andre Drummond has already put together a pretty nice highlight reel for himself, and that's just after one half of basketball. He did a lot of scoring, and it probably won't stop anytime soon. Here we go with the top plays from the first half.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Pistons will start the second half with a narrow lead. Clearly, the number of three-pointers these guys scored in the first half was incredible. And if they can keep that up, it's going to be tough to keep that team down. Have a look at the leading scorers for the Detroit Pistons. The Rockets are within striking distance at the half. And even though they don't have the lead, they're doing a great job of moving the ball around. they might find themselves on the winning end of the scoreboard if they can keep it up. These are the guys getting buckets for the Houston Rockets.
Game trap. Steals.
The story of this game so far has been the lack of ball security. Neither team can hold on to the ball, and unfortunately, it made the first half kind of tough to watch.
Player of the half.
Andre Drummond has the defense figured out, and his shots are falling for him. That's a lethal combination that will be hard to overcome. Here's our top plays from the first half. And with that, I'm sending it back to Ed and Jay to bring you the rest of the game.
It's Detroit's ball. Ish Smith to Drummond. Shot from the lane won't go. Grabs his own miss and scores. Good concentration.
You know, Ed, I'm down with guys having 35, 40, maybe 50 points in a game. But the one thing you look for in the defensive end, when there's a huddle after a guy has dropped multiple buckets on you in a row, and everybody's quiet, nobody stands up and says, yo, I got him, I'm going to stop him, you're in a worrisome place for your team.
The monster stuff. Jay, let's see if that's a sign for him.
Well, he's been pretty much non-existent the first 3 quarters, but when you have a play like that, that can get the juices going, and that can help you with your offensive rhythm.
Gets it in the right corner. Lets it fly from beyond the arc. Great defense, forcing the miss.
They had so much success in the first half knocking down the three-point shot. That's not the case so far in the second. Try to play inside out. Maybe attack the rim. See the ball go in first.
And James Harden, not sure why he was so wide open there. The way he gets to the line, you have to respect every part of his game.
He is an occupational hazard for referees. He's the MVP of drawing fouls. He constantly baits the defender, which makes the defender's hands drop, which allows James Harden to drop buckets on him.
To Griffin. Here's a chance from long range. And Blake Griffin, good on the quick release for 3.
Well, the defense has been good, but the shot-making ability has been better. And sometimes for NBA players at this level, the more you're in their face, the more it helps them center their focus on the target, which is making the shot. I know it sounds weird, but trust me, it's a real thing.
To Griffin. Inside, he scores.
That's lunch pail business right there. Don't worry about the no call. Keep powering through.
And now Houston has the basketball to Anthony. To Paul. Fires the 3. That one also no good.
And big-time coaching strategy by the staff right there, utilizing their bench, keeping fresh legs on that shooter consistently throughout the course of the game.
Harden in possession. His guys down by 9. Leaving no doubt. Slams it down. Here on their home floor, they're chipping away.
I mean, does this crowd have a pulse? Are they even alive? Sometimes when you make a play like that, your crowd needs to get you back in this ball game.
That's off the side of the rim, short.
Shooters shoot, period. I don't want to hear any excuses. That's why you're on the floor. You keep doing what you're doing with that superior confidence.
Ish Smith. To Drummond. It's Rockets ball. Anthony. Look out. If he's hitting those, could be a long night.
I love the pure confidence on that jumper. He takes that 3 despite the defender being right in front of his face. That's borderline disrespectful.
Whistle stops play, and we'll get a timeout here for Detroit as they'll talk things over in what's now a 4-point game.
Thanks to those who have already participated in this community event.
Some lineup changes now for both clubs.
For the Detroit Pistons, number 1, Ray
Jackson to Smith.
entering the game for the Rockets. Number 10, Eric Gordon.
No good. No daylight. Great defense. Harden into the front court. His guys trail now by 4. Rebound to Detroit. Jackson to Griffin. Nice pass to get things going. Simply put, can you build a franchise around Blake Griffin right now?
No, not right now. I think he's starting to get to the latter part of his career. I think he could be a key cog in a championship team, but just not the main guy.
To Anthony. Fires the 3. And he's fouled. Nice move that time, and he's going to the line for 2.
This drives me nuts when I see fouls like that being called in a close game. Sometimes you just gotta let them play, ref.
First one, count it. Second to 3, got it. Off the mark. 2 for 3 on this trip. To Griffin. To Luke Kennard. For 3, they dared him, and he burns them.
Don't seem shocked. This is how the game is played these days. Shooting a 3 is like shooting a layup.
Oh, it's rejected by Griffin.
Just erasing mistakes left and right.
Nothing going here on that drive. Kennard. From long range. Good for 3.
Ugh, did you see the way the ball came off his hands? Not the best form in the world, but it is where it is. Count it. Maybe just don't count on it all the time.
Houston takes over. From the painted area, won't go down.
Seems like a lot of contact on that play. If I were that player, I would pull the ref over to the side, talk to him, express to him how much contact there was so he could look for that same foul call potentially the next time down the court.
Beyond the arc for 3. Missed it. That's the end of the third quarter. The Pistons with the lead. It's been a compelling game so far. The fourth quarter is underway. Here's Harden with the rock. Lets it fly from long range. Off the iron. No good.
And there's always so much talk about defense. How about offensively? If you continue to attack that shooter, now you're making him work on the defensive end. That makes
And a putback slam.
This is why I go back into player mode. If the dude starts to try to have 40 points on me, I'm going to foul out. I'm going to start hitting him in places he's not used to being hit. I'm trying to do anything to throw him off his game.
To Harden. Harden shot won't go down. To Smith. Going to launch beyond the arc. Not getting the bounce. Harden with it up top. The deficit now up to a dozen. Harden to Anthony. They work it down to Gordon. Missed it. Almost a foul. They let it go. Yes, and a foul. He'll have a chance at a three-point play.
People become so fixated on the hands or the arms or the strengths of the arms. I look at the legs. The strength of his legs help him power through that play. That's how you get and ones.
Free throw's good as they continue to widen their lead. Harden in possession. Down by 15. Tucker to Harden. 4-3. Collected by Drummond. Ish Smith. Down low for Griffin. Off the assist.
I remember my high school coach said one man can't beat five. Well, I'm telling you right now, he lied. I'm watching it happen in person.
Harden. Harden with a shot. Won't go. To Smith. Nothing going here on that drive. To Drummond. Griffin had made his first couple, but he misses there. Took it down the lane, but it's no good. And that's a backcourt violation. New blood coming in for both sides. Got a piece of it.
Jumping out the gym right now, Ed.
Great anticipation. Yes, and the foul. And a chance at 3 coming up.
So many times we get on the defender for quote-unquote letting the offensive player score on an and one. Sometimes there's a lucky bounce, but more often than not, it's the offensive player who makes the play happen despite the defender's best intentions.
Free throw's good. Add one more to the total. This game feels out of reach. Harden with the basketball. Down a bundle. He was smothered and still gets it to go down.
You normally don't see that, but that's the type of thing that keeps shooters in the league for a long time. Every once in a while, they venture into the paint.
Now that's a contest.
Great contest by the D, but I want to see the coaching staff call the same exact play the next possession. Get that offensive player the ball. Let him prove that it wasn't the D. It was more in his own head.
To Griffin. Drummond. To Jackson. To Drummond. The jumper's off the mark. On the follow. Way to stay with it.
Ooh, shows like this separate the good players from the great ones. The good players, they have good first halves, and then they fade to black in the second. The great players, they just sustain that kind of dynamic energy throughout the entire ballgame.
And he's fouled. Very close, Jay. The results, he's going to the line.
Sometimes when you get up big, you get a little careless. But attention to detail through the end, that's how you avoid unnecessary fouls.
Knocks down the first. So he hits the first, misses the second. I don't know what the defender was doing there, but count the points.
That's what I'm talking about, Ed. It's that simple. Put the ball in the bucket.
Smith. That's off the side of the rim, no good. Rockets in control of the basketball. Anthony to Paul. Terrific vision. And look out.
We call that get your money and put it in the bank.
Jackson. Defense was ready. Reggie Jackson unable to hit. To Paul. Here comes the screen. Paul. He's not shy about shooting it from out there, but he misses this time.
And look, sometimes you don't have it going every single night. Maybe utilize yourself as a decoy and get some teammates involved with your passing.
Paul with it up top. Trailing by 15. Paul. He's had a good shooting performance, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
Yeah, no one else pretty much helped out. As a coach, I would be irate that nobody helped pick up the slack. Look, one man can never beat five.
Keep on trying. Shot's no good there. Gordon with it. Down a dozen. Has a chance. Gordon shot. No good. Is Smith to Reggie Jackson. That's usually one that he'll knock down.
Let's be realistic. He's probably not going to miss a lot of shots. But the more effort you can give, you want to try to tire him out. Take his legs away. Make him work to catch the ball. That's how you win a defensive battle.
Paul to Capella. Turned away by Drummond.
You know, sometimes basketball can become a very beautiful thing to watch. During the regular season, things can get difficult. Energy can be low. The passion at times can even be lower because players are tired. They're fatigued. But today, it's all been good. They're putting in an absolute show with killer efficiency and tremendous effort and intensity.
Time to shuffle things up. Oh, nice find for the basket.
It's always those sneaky athletic ones. These guys get you every time. Hashtag team don't sleep.
Lets it fly from beyond the arc. That's what he does best. Kennard drills the three.
I got to be real here. I think he was the only one expecting to shoot that shot. The crowd, the coaching staff, every other player on the court and myself, all of our mouths are left wide open right now.
The Pistons are the winners as they win this one handily. That does it. For my partner Jay Williams and our entire crew, I'm Ed Cohen. This has been a presentation of the NBA on EA Sports. For more, log on to EASports.com. As we say, so long.
The Pistons added a win with today's solid victory. And some people may disagree, but I think their ball movement was the biggest key to their victory. Still, I think we'd all agree that they made the defense look slow and confused throughout this matchup. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Detroit Pistons. The Rockets just couldn't get within striking distance toward the end of the game. And even though some of them smiled and shook hands with the other guys after the game, you can tell by the way they headed to the tunnels how disappointed they were about this loss. Check out the leading scores for the Houston Rockets.
Game track. Assists.
The Detroit Pistons played fantastic team basketball today. Ball movement is clearly what separated these two squads.
Player of the game.
And what we have here are highlights worth 1,000 words. There's no question he stood out amongst the rest in today's matchup. Here we go with the top 3 plays.
Number 2. Number 1.
See y'all next time. J.M. Rose signing out.